you show us what the talus is?
Yeah, sure. Let me do one thing. The talus is the bone that is actually part of what we call the ankle mortise joint. So here you have the calcaneus, and this is the talus right here that sits under the tibia and the fibula. So it's the main joint that does plantar flexion, dorsiflexion of the ankle. So it's here, and then it does come forward a little bit, and then goes into the naviculum. Okay? We'll get a lot more into the foot bones next time. And so it also does stabilization of the medial arch of the foot, because it's coming underneath and attaching to all of these bones of the foot. And then this is where we get into talking about shin splints. Okay, so like you're saying, with people that are doing running or changing the different contours, basically what's happening is as the foot's going down, as you're landing like that, we talked before about eccentric and concentric contractions, right? Concentric would be pulling up like this. Eccentric is the tibialis posterior is holding all these together and letting them come down gradually instead of just flopping down like that. It's a controlled eccentric contraction. So when you're running and pounding on your feet, that tibialis posterior muscle is what's controlling all the the bones in the arch of the foot. So as it's coming down, it's pulling on the attachment up here. So that's where you get the problem. I mean, you can have tendonitis problems in here, but what it's doing is that it's pulling on the place where that muscle attaches to the whole bone. Okay? So the place where you're going to feel the shin splints is going to be kind of the posterior part of the tibia. So that'd be posterior shin splints, or if it's involving the tibialis anterior, then you may complain a bit more on the front of the lower leg. So shin splints, if they're posterior, and tibialis posterior, it's going to be deep here. So this muscle's coming up right here. So it's going to be the mid portion of the tibia, tibia, just posterior to it. Okay. So then now we're getting into the deeper ones here. So we have flexor digitorum longus. So that's going to come more off of the posterior part of the tibia. And usually it's the same kind of thing as when we talked about in the forearm, is that the muscle tends to come across. If it's going to the last toes, it's kind of coming on the tibial side. If it's going to the big toe, it comes from the fibular side. So it's crossing over. Okay? So flexor digitorum longus coming off the posterior midsurface of the tibia, it goes through the tarsal tunnel, and then it goes to the second through the fifth toes. And then that's what it's going to be the toe flexor. So it would be the action of, if you're picking things up with your toes or gripping with the toes. And then flexor hallucis longus, it's coming from the fibular side. And then again, it's so deep down in there that it's going to come off of that interosseous membrane as well. It's going to come across and go into the big toe. And then that's going to be important when you're part of the push-off when you're walking with gait, is that you're pushing off with your big toe. So that's going to be the flexor hallucis longus as part of the gait. So we pretty much have covered the lower extremity except for the more detailed stuff of the actual foot itself. So we talked about the thigh, right? So we talked about the muscles of the thigh. They're going to flex and extend the thigh. So you have the flex the knee, the posterior compartment is going to flex the knee and extend the thigh like this. And then what's going to extend at the knee, or extension of the leg, it's going to be the anterior compartment. And then the medial compartment is going to be a deduction. So then there's a cross section through it. So here's going to be the medial compartment. There's going to be the posterior compartment, and then here's going to be the quadriceps. The quadriceps is like the vastus lateralis and the medius. I'm sorry, I got flipped around. Yeah, this is the posterior compartment here. There's the hamstrings up at the top. This is the medial compartment, and then there's the anterior compartment. And it does kind of wrap around from the lateral side of the vastus lateralis. So then we just talked about the muscles of the leg, or the distal lower extremity. Their actions are going to be the plantar flex and everter foot with the lateral compartment. So that's out like this. And then the posterior compartment is going to flex or plantar flex, and that's going to be like the soleus, and then the deeper muscle that goes to the toes. And then the anterior compartment is going to be dorsiflexion, which would be the tibialis anterior and the other extensors. So now this shows the different compartments. So this is going to be the anterior compartment here. Okay, so you can see that the boundaries of it are going to be the tibia and the fibula, and you have this interosseous membrane, and then you have this tight part of fascia here. So you can see that that's the one that's more enclosed between the bones, and the fascia across the front of it is tight, and it's a smaller area. So that's what's subjected to, if you get swelling into there, you can get anterior compartment syndrome. Whereas on the posterior compartment, you have all this big expansive fascia that's more stretchable, so it's not likely that you're not going to get posterior compartment syndrome. And then you have the lateral compartment here, depending on how far up or down this. The belly of the muscles in the lateral compartment are actually a little bit lower, so that's why you're not seeing too much of the lateral compartment up here, because it slashes up pretty high. Because the bellies of the muscles are going to be down lower a little bit.